Hello everybody, CoolJ663 here again. Gonna do my video on group bosses here. Hopefully I'll have enough time to cover what I need to cover. I'm still working on the Scrapper group boss. I don't have a great team for that. That scrapped debuff is rough. But here's my regular agent setup. Got the Generalist with the Morale Boost ISO. The Uter Pendragon, because it has Hollowed and Ethereal, so bypasses all of Drax's ridiculousness. Neurotrope for the counters and free crit. This is a nifty little device, Quantum Entanglement. It's a quick action quantum jumper. Picked that up from one of the daily missions randomly. Got the damage amplifier, and the cube is my last piece. And I use the same setup for the Infiltrator, the Blaster, and the Bruiser. It's cable with the unavoidable EISO, so none of Drax's random dodge, and his preempt one, because the gun when souped up, that preempt is rough. And Iron Fist with the killer combo instinct combo breaker is pretty fantastic, because the vamps will randomly attack if you don't kill them quick enough. But I'll just get to it. And usually I just start off by taking out the Protector Vampire, because he tends to be a headache. That's way less damage than it usually is. But that combo breaker is very useful. Cable, always give himself an extra turn. Overdrive. Rampage. Since they have that counterattack thing, I like to switch it up a little bit. And Iron Fist is here for one reason, and that's pretty much Praying Lotus. I want to get that off as soon as possible. Just, it saves your life. Because too much bleed is rough on everybody. Here's the fun thing. Cable doesn't get exhaustion off of his level 9. So you can use another thing that gives him an extra turn, like this one. Yeah, use whatever attack with Iron Fist. It's really not that important. Get you a third stack of Rampage, even if you do miss. Then use the damage amplifier. I should have used it first, but it happens. Go for the Pendragon. Now that I have 3, I'm going to go ahead and flip Cable back. On his own turn, he will have his level 9 back. But I already have 3 stacks, so I'm going to go ahead and crack off a gunshot. Go ahead and use the improbability field. I should have used my armor ability to give stamina, but I missed it. I do have energize on that, so he always has it. The Scrawny Art. And then I trigger my level 15 bonus, because guaranteed crit on this attack is ridiculous. There's 20%, there's 10%. And Iron Fist actually gets it. It doesn't happen very often. You can actually get up to 4 stacks of power contained. I did it a different way that time. It's not the way I usually do it, but That's the main setup. I'll now show you the tactician one with my gambit setup. Alright, and here's my other counter team for tactician. I have Gambit with his unique EISO, which gives him up to 8 stacks of kinetic charge, and the covert for a preempt, because having stacks of kinetic charge makes it a whole lot quicker. Iron Fist for the prevention and stamina, and the agent is pretty much exactly the same. The only thing I changed is I took out the quantum entanglement, because if Gambit, the way he works, if he has exhaustion, which you do get from the entanglement, he doesn't get his extra turns off of high card, I think it's called. So you have to ditch that one. So what I swapped in is the Solar Storm. It's catastrophic and puts magnetized so Drac doesn't get his dodges. Cable has that way to avoid the unavoidable ISO, so he gets past Dracula. Gambit needs a little bit of help, so I do that with my agent. There we go, I got strength in that time. As always, I start Gambit with his level 15 ability, which kicks in the covert ISO, and then Royal Flush, which gives everyone else counterattacks. Gambit is just really good. Slap on Praying Lotus. Get my preempt. Which means I have at least 2 stacks. I get to counter too, so I have 6 stacks. So I'm primed and ready to go. On my agent's turn, I'll put Magnetized on and we'll go from there. Which I don't really need to do because he didn't use that ability. Yeah, he didn't use that ability. Yeah, well, gotta do it anyway. Damage Amplifier. And Solar Storm. And his AISO is what makes this possible, because it then gives flanked and stealthy. So the first one gives him flanked, and then because he follow-ups with his level 1, he just keeps getting stacks, and you can go until he runs out of stamina. And you'll end up with 8 stacks towards the end. If you want to switch over and use the Raging Cajun for the more damage, you can do that too. I think it ends up evening out unless you crit, so. Honestly, I would be using an infiltrator suit on my agent, but the only one I have won is the flight suit that doesn't work, so I just leave him as the generalist for the stamina booster if I need it. If Gambit doesn't end it in the first time, you can go again. It's not often that that happens, but this one was really high on health, so it might. Yeah, because the way that Ace of Spades here is worded, that's what it's called. It consumes a kinetic charge to grant an extra turn. Because it says extra turn, exhausted prevents him from getting this. So that's why I take off the quantum jumper or entanglement or whatever you might want to use for that extra turn. I'm pretty sure there's a free action version of it too. I haven't seen it yet though. So it's worth doing even the crappy daily missions sometimes, because sometimes there's a custom item on there that's really good. I believe I got that one from Taco Tuesday, actually. So, if it's 30 energy or so, I'd do it anyway, even if it's not something I really care about on the roulettes. There's always that chance. Five. Yeah, I can do one more set and then go for it. So that puts him at 28. And I'll go ahead and go Raging Cajun and see if it finishes him. And it does. Look at those hits, man. 36,000 crits. But there's that. For the scrapper, I really don't have a great team. I'm kind of trying to work on it. So if I do get one figured out, I will post that for you. Cable just doesn't seem to work for me. He should, but that scrap debuff makes him pretty much useless. And Drac always goes after him for some reason. Anyhow, those are my basic setups, and I'll try and get the scrapper figured out sometime this weekend. Currently, I don't even have a scrapper to fight. I have a blaster left, and that's it. So, I don't even have one to show if I could do it. But, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope it helps. If you don't have that AISO for Gambit, farm it. It is very, very good. And Cable's EISO as well for the preemptive attack. The Gambit EISO isn't necessary, but it does help, because having those 8 stacks makes Raging Cajun a lot more powerful than the 4. Otherwise, it's nothing too ridiculous. You can swap out most of the setup for the agent any which way you want, but you want either Ethereal Strike, Hallowed, both if you can get it, and just support. The damage amplifier makes a big difference. Everybody should have at least several of those laying around. I currently have 230, so well, this is Cool J663 signing off. I will catch you guys later.